The locker room smelled of sweat and metal, a sharp tang that clung to the air like a second skin. I stood there, heart pounding, as Ethan's fist collided with the locker beside my head, the clang echoing like a gunshot. His eyes, storm gray and wild, pinned me in place, daring me to move. You think you can just waltz in here, Jasper, and steal my spot? Ethan's voice was low, a growl that sent shivers down my spine. He was the star quarterback, the golden boy of Lincoln High, and I was the new kid who dared to outshine him at tryouts. But it wasn't just about football. There was something else in his glare, something that felt like a spark igniting a fire I didn't understand. I pushed back, my own anger flaring. I earned my place. Ethan, maybe you're just scared I'm better. The words were reckless, but I was done shrinking. Growing up in a small town in Ohio, I'd learned to hide who I was amid quiet dreams, my guarded heart. Moving to this new school in suburban California was supposed to be a fresh start, a chance to be myself. But Ethan Carter, with his chiseled jaw and relentless intensity, was making that impossible. He stepped closer, his breath hot against my cheek. You're not just a threat, Jasper. You're my obsession. The word hung between us, heavy and dangerous, like a secret neither of us was ready to face. I froze, my pulse racing as his hand lingered on my shoulder, not pushing me away but holding me there, like he was afraid I'd vanish. It started 3 weeks ago, when I walked onto the field for tryouts. Lincoln High's football team was a machine, undefeated for 2 years, and Ethan was its heart. I wasn't here to challenge him, at least. Not at first. I just wanted to play, to feel the rush of the game, to prove I could belong somewhere. But my speed, my precision, caught Coach Harlan's eye. You've got something special, kid, he'd said, clapping me on the back. Ethan overheard, and that was when the trouble began. He'd corner me after practice, his taunts sharp but laced with something I couldn't name. You think you're hot stuff, don't you? He'd say, his eyes lingering too long. I'd fire back, refusing to let him see how he rattled me. But every clash left me breathless. My thoughts tangled in the way his voice softened when no one else was around, the way his gaze seemed to search for something in me. That day in the locker room was different. The team had left, their laughter fading down the hall, leaving just the two of us. Ethan's hand slid from my shoulder to the locker, caging me in. Why do you keep pushing me, Jasper? He asked, his voice cracking, like he was fighting himself as much as me. I wanted to shove him away, to tell him to back off. But my body betrayed me, leaning into the heat of his presence. I'm not the one starting fights, I said, my voice quieter now, searching his face. There was pain there, hidden beneath the bravado, and it hit me like a tackle. Ethan wasn't just angry. He was scared. Scared of what I represented. Scared of what he felt. I knew that fear. I'd felt it every time I caught myself staring too long at a guy in class. Every time I buried my truth to fit in. Then why can't I stop thinking about you? He whispered, so soft I almost missed it. His hand dropped, and for a moment, we just stood there, the air thick with unspoken words. I wanted to reach out, to bridge the gap, but the weight of who we were, two guys in a small-town high school, bound by rules and expectations, held me back. The next week was a blur of practices and stolen glances. Ethan was relentless, calling plays that put us side by side, his shoulder brushing mine as we ran drills. Off the field, he'd find excuses to talk to May about strategy, about the game, but always with that edge, like he was testing me. I started to notice the cracks in his armor, the way he'd flinch when his dad, a former NFL player, showed up to watch practice, barking orders from the sidelines. The way he'd linger after everyone left, staring at the field like it was the only place he felt free. One night, after a grueling practice, I found him sitting alone on the bleachers, his head in his hands. The stadium lights cast long shadows, painting him in shades of gold and gray. I hesitated, then sat beside him. "You okay?" I asked, my voice barely above the hum of the crickets. He didn't look at me. "You ever feel like you're drowning, Jasper? Like everyone expects you to be someone you're not?" His words hit too close to home. I'd spent years pretending, hiding my feelings, my identity, to avoid the whispers and judgment. "Yeah," I said, my throat tight. "All the time." He turned to me then, his eyes searching mine. And for the first time, I saw him not the team captain, not the untouchable star, but Ethan, raw and real. "I don't know how to do this," he said, his voice breaking. "I don't know how to be around you without wanting more." My heart stopped. I wanted to tell him I felt it to the pull, the ache, the way my world shifted every time he was near. But fear clawed at me, the same fear that had kept me silent for years. Before I could speak, he stood, his jaw tight. "Forget it," he muttered, walking away into the dark. I sat there, alone, the weight of his words sinking in. This wasn't just about football anymore. It was about us, about the line we were towing, and the world that would judge us if we crossed it. But as I watched him disappear, I knew one thing: I wasn't ready to let him go. The next morning, the locker room felt like a battlefield. Ethan avoided my eyes, barking orders at the team like nothing had happened. But I saw the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands clenched when I passed by. I wanted to confront him, to demand answers. But the game was tomorrow our biggest yet. Against Riverton High-End, the team needed us focused. Practice was brutal. Ethan pushed us harder than ever, his plays sharp and unforgiving. When I fumbled a pass, he was on me in seconds, his voice cutting through the field. "Get it together, Jasper. We can't afford mistakes." The team watched, silent, sensing the storm brewing between us. I gritted my teeth and ran the play again, nailing it this time. He didn't say a word, but his nod was enough. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed his words on the bleachers, the way his voice had trembled. I'd never told anyone I was gaining out my parents, not my old friends in Ohio. The fear of rejection, of losing everything, had kept me locked in silence. But Ethan was breaking through that wall, and it terrified me as much as it thrilled me. The game against Riverton was a war. The stands were packed, the air electric with cheers and tension. Ethan was a force, leading us with a fire I'd never seen. I matched him, play for play, our movements syncing like we'd been doing this forever. In the final quarter, with the score tied, he called a risky play long pass to me. I sprinted, heart pounding, and caught it, diving into the end zone as the crowd erupted. We won, 28-24. And for a moment, the world was perfect. In the locker room, the team was a chaos of celebration. Ethan grabbed my arm, pulling me aside as the others chanted his name. You were incredible out there, he said, his voice low, his eyes burning into mine. I knew you had it in you. I swallowed, my chest tight. We did it together. Ethan. For a second, his guard dropped, and I saw the boy from the bleachers again, vulnerable. Real. Then his dad burst in, clapping Ethan on the back, his voice booming with pride. That's my boy. NFL bound. Ethan's smile faltered, and I saw the weight settle back on him. Later, at the team's victory party at Mike's house, I found Ethan outside, leaning against the porch railing, staring at the stars. The music thumped faintly behind us, but out here, it was just us and the night. I stepped closer, my heart racing. You were amazing today, I said, echoing his words. He laughed, a bitter edge to it. Amazing at pretending. Maybe. My dad's got my whole life planned: college, the pros, the perfect son. But I don't know if I want it. He turned to me, his eyes raw. I don't know if I can keep pretending I don't feel this. My breath caught. Ethan. The word stuck. Fear and hope warring inside me. Before I could finish, he closed the distance, his lips crashing into mine. The kiss was desperate, hungry, like he'd been holding it back for years. I kissed him back, my hands gripping his shirt, the world fading until it was just us. He pulled away, his forehead resting against mine, his breath ragged. I'm sorry, he whispered. I shouldn't have. Don't, I said, my voice fierce. Don't apologize for that. I wanted to tell him everything, how I'd felt the same pull, how I'd been afraid but was done hiding. But headlights swept across the yard, and we jumped apart as his dad's car pulled up. Ethan. His dad called, his voice sharp. Get in. We're leaving. Ethan's face shut down, the vulnerability gone, replaced by the mask he wore for the world. He glanced at me, a silent apology in his eyes, then followed his dad to the car. I stood there, my lips still tingling, my heart a mess of hope and dread. The next day at school, Ethan was distant, avoiding me in the halls. I tried to catch him after practice, but he brushed me off, his voice cold. We can't. Jasper. You know why? But I didn't. All I knew was the ache in my chest, the memory of his kiss, and the fear that I'd lost him before we'd even begun. By the end of the week, rumors started. Someone had seen us on the porch, and whispers spread like wildfire. You hear about Ethan and the new kid. No way. Carter's not like that. I felt the stares, the judgment, and I knew Ethan did too. His dad's presence at practice grew heavier, his expectations a shadow Ethan couldn't escape. Friday night, after another game, I found him in the locker room, alone again. We need to talk, I said, my voice steady despite the fear clawing at me. You can't keep running from this. He spun on me, his eyes blazing. You think I want to? You think I don't feel it every time you're near me? But this, he gestured between us. It'll ruin everything. My dad. The team. My future. Then why did you kiss me? I demanded, stepping closer. Why call me your obsession if you're just going to push me away? Because I'm scared. Jasper. He shouted, his voice breaking. I've never felt like this, and it's tearing me apart. His words hung there, raw and honest, And I saw the truth. He was as lost as I was. Caught between who he was and who he wanted to be. I reached for him, my hand brushing his arm. But he flinched, stepping back. "Don't," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Not here." The locker room felt like a cage, its walls closing in on us. I wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him see that we could face this together. But the fear in his eyes stopped me. The next week was torture. The rumors grew louder, and the team started to fracture. Some guys avoided me, others threw sly comments, testing me. Ethan stayed silent, his focus on the field razor sharp. But I saw the strain in his face, the way he carried the weight of everyone's expectations. I wanted to hate him for pulling away, but I couldn't. I knew what it was like to be trapped by fear. One night, I found a note slipped into my locker. "Meet me at the field. Midnight." My heart raced as I snuck out, the cool night air sharp against my skin. The stadium was dark, the stands empty. But Ethan was there, sitting on the 50-yard line, his silhouette stark against the moonlight. "I'm sorry," he said as I approached, his voice heavy. "For everything. I didn't mean to hurt you." He stood, his hands shoved in his pockets, his eyes searching mine. "I've been fighting this for so long, Jasper. Not just you, but me. Who I am." I stepped closer, my voice soft but firm. "You don't have to fight alone." I told him everything thinned me years of hiding. The fear of being seen, the hope I'd found in him. "I'm scared too, Ethan. But I'd rather face it with you than lose you." He closed his eyes, a tear slipping down his cheek. "My dad, he'll never understand. The team, the town, they'll tear us apart." But then he looked at me, and something shifted. "But I can't keep pretending I don't love you." The word hit me like a wave. Love. It was messy, terrifying, beautiful. I reached for his hand, and this time, he didn't pull away. We stood there, fingers intertwined, the world silent around us. For the first time, I felt free. The next day, we made a choice. We'd face it together, no matter what. At practice, when the whispers started, Ethan didn't back down. He stood beside me, his shoulder brushing mine. A quiet declaration. Some teammates scoffed, but others, like Mike, our running back, nodded. A silent show of support. Coach Harlan pulled us aside, his face stern but kind. "You boys are part of this team. Focus on the game, and I've got your back." Ethan's dad was another story. He confronted Ethan after practice, his voice booming across the parking lot. "You're throwing your future away for this," he demanded, gesturing at me like I was a mistake. Ethan stood tall, his voice steady. "I'm not throwing anything away, Dad. I'm choosing to be me." It wasn't easy. The town buzzed with gossip, and Ethan's dad didn't speak to him for weeks. But we held on to each other, to the team, to the truth. We started small, sharing our story with those we trusted, finding allies in unexpected places. The rainbow reflection I'd imagined in the locker room mirror became Rayala pride pin on my backpack, a quiet handhold in the halls. By senior year, things had shifted. Ethan and I were still the heart of the team, leading Lincoln High to another championship. Off the field, we were just us two guys in love, navigating a world that wasn't always kind but was slowly changing. Ethan's dad came around. Slowly. Starting with a gruff, "I'm trying," over dinner one night. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. The night of our last game. We stood on the field under the stadium lights. The crowd's cheers fading into the background. Ethan pulled me close. His smile soft and sure. "You're still my obsession," he said, his voice warm with laughter. "But now, you're my home." I kissed him. Right there. Not caring who saw. The world didn't end. The stars didn't fall. Instead, they shone brighter, lighting the way for us. For anyone who dared to love despite the odds. We'd fought for this for years and we'd won something bigger than any game. The freedom to be ourselves. Together.